And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day, committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and always providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, legal, and so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Our number one goals are to educate, entertain, enlighten, but most importantly, we want to engage with you so we can help you win.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you're going to need it. 813-670-7372.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-670-7372. And make sure you bookmark our website, consumerqb.com. A plethora of information available for you at consumerqb.com. You can see links to all of our expert contributors, all their contact information available for you on our website, consumerqb.com. I implore you to check it out. And we've got attorney in the house. We got my man in the house. So we're going to talk about consumer debt, consumer practices. Yep. We've got different situations where you got personal injury, everything from traffic stops. What say you in those areas? What do you want to talk about today?
Well, today I was thinking about talking about particularly damages and the various types of law that I do. Okay. As far as like injury law, you've got your personal injury cases like car accidents, slip and falls, and workers' comp is administrative law, totally different when it comes to damages. And a lot of people, when I sign up a new client, they always want to know a couple weeks into their case, how much is my case worth?
Yes, case worth.
Yeah, and honestly, every case, there's factors you got to look at, and that's what I was thinking about talking about today.
Yeah, looking at different factors, everything from, and you cover a lot of different areas. Like we've talked about from everything from, DUI situation. Is it wise to blow or not?
You know what? I defer those out, actually. I refer those out. But I do like regular traffic tickets. Okay. And it's funny, when you have your own practice, I started out just doing personal injury, workers' comp, and it morphed into these other things. It just kind of happened, helping people over the years. And right. You don't plan on it originally, and then you kind of get off on a tangent. Next thing you know, you like that area of law too. Right. So I've got a couple different ones. But yeah, traffic tickets, basically, if you ever get a traffic ticket of any kind, speeding ticket, I always think it's worth fighting it. Mm-hmm. Especially, I charge a very nominal amount, $150, and then I show up. I'd say 60% of the time the cop doesn't show. Oh wow! Cop doesn't show, everything gets thrown out. So you you don't have to pay the ticket, and you get no points. Wow! This is just a basic run-of-the-mill traffic ticket. Right. If they're there, then usually they're cool as long as you don't have a terrible driving record, and I'll either ask my class, would you rather the points or the fine? And they'll let you pick either one. So it's always wise, as opposed to just eating it, and then you get the points and paying the fine. So, I see. So yeah, it's probably worth it. And then you always have that chance, and it's probably better than a coin flip where he's not going to show it all, and you're going to get off altogether. Right. So for $150, that's a pretty good deal. Yeah, it is. So yeah, that's just a little tip for basic traffic stops. Because Jason, points on your license can affect your licensing. Yeah, eventually, could leave the driver suspended license, and all kind of take it away from you even eventually. Right. Okay. Yeah, so that it's something that happens, from time to time. It seems like you'll go for a string of time where you don't get pulled, you get nothing going on, and then you have a couple in a row. You're like, whoa, what happened? Exactly. It's sometimes a matter of luck. Mm-hmm. So let's dive into what you're talking about with the case worth. When you're analyzing a case, people need to understand, what they potentially have. Absolutely. What factors are they looking at here? Well, let's talk about first, say a car accident case. Okay. Because there's civil law is very different than administrative law, like workers' comp, and the laws are different. Like in a workers' comp case, it's a no-fault statute, so I don't even have to prove fault at all. Whereas in a personal injury case, say a car accident or slip and fall, the first thing you got to look at is liability. Who's at fault? Okay. So is it 100% clear that the other party is at fault? Well, then that's good, because then okay, that issue is 100% their responsibility. Whereas in a case where, say, it's maybe 50-50, 60-40, well, then you got to include that in your analysis, and you kind of prorate that into the damages. And your damages come from say for a car accident, your medical bills, and we'll get into that in a little bit, but medical bills, lost wages, something called pain and suffering. We all have heard of that. Those are the big money cases, like the McDonald's case. That person that got burned by all that hot coffee. It was actually a pretty horrific burn.
Yes, I watched that documentary, and that's interesting. That a lot of people, have a misconception about what happened.
Yeah, and they think, oh, that's a joke. Pour some hot coffee on me. No, you don't want what happened to that person.
That was really bad. She got scarred really bad in her private area,
and it was so hot. It was like, I forget the temperature. It was
radiator scalding hot.
It was bad. Yes. It was really bad.
And they had multiple calls telling them, hey, your coffee's way too hot. It's way too hot. Multiple documented calls.
That's awesome, man, because you're actually getting into my next point about damages. And then there's something called punitive damages, which don't always apply, but it did in that case. And that's for a situation that's so horrific, it kind of gets away from the damages of the facts of the case, and more so if it's good for society to be sent a message like, hey, we don't stand for this, meaning we don't stand for fast food joints selling coffee at that temperature.
Yeah.
So it sends a message, and it really has nothing to do with they want it to be a big enough impact where this company and others like it are going to know you don't do that.
Yes.
And that's punitive damages. Those are always good to look for.
Yeah, that's a punishing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And they don't always come. They're hard to get, but when you get, for example, like if someone injures someone and gets a DUI, I have a case like that right now. So they caused the accident, and at the same time they got a DUI. Punitive damages almost always come with that.
Wow.
Because we don't want people drunk driving injuring people. So it sends the message.
Wow.
And those usually are high dollar values in addition to the regular damages.
Yeah, I bet.
Yep.
Yeah. So man, a lot to go there. Yeah, and going back to that hot coffee incident, the challenge with the media and the way that things got leaked out. Oh, did you hear about this person? She got millions of dollars because she spilled hot coffee. And like you said, oh, spill some on me. Yeah, I mean, so it's weird how that happens. And the big thing about it too, in that documentary I watched, is it had President Bush at the time, not the senior but the son. He was talking about, oh, we need tort reform.
Exactly.
We got to go and reform tort.
Yep.
So the businessmen were in the pocket. They're saying, and so they cap damages on a lot of these things.
Yes.
Why don't we start with exactly what is a tort?
Sure. A tort is any civil action where someone, like, for example, a battery, negligence, say, for example, a negligence is someone that has a duty and they breach that duty and cause an accident. So any kind of, say, motor vehicle accident, what that is a negligence case. So a tort it's not a criminal action, but it's a civil action where you're harmed by somebody else and then you're going to be compensated civilly. So that's a tort. The different types are battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligence, stuff along those lines. Libel, slander, the defamation. Actually, I have one of those now too.
Defamation of character.
Yeah. Yep. So any type of civil harm or harm that you suffer that you're going to go get compensated civilly as opposed to criminally.
So a tort reform. So it's more civil.
Tort. Well, yeah, they think these guys. And granted, I'll be honest with you. There's sometimes we get a case where, say, the damages are horrific, the person passes away, or it's a car accident, someone's 100% at fault, and they're paralyzed, and you make a couple of phone calls and settle the case, you get a third of the settlement, and you make $100,000 on a phone call. So they hear stuff like that, and they're like, that's horrific. Something needs to be done about that. Whereas then that's not always the case.
Right.
So they only hear about situations like that, or maybe they misconstrue facts like the case you mentioned.
The hot coffee.
Yeah. And next thing you know, you're doing tort reform when really maybe that's not such a great idea.
Yeah. Man, if you just joined us, we're talking with Jason Kobal, local attorney here in Tampa Bay. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. So we're looking at the different types of court cases and different areas of law that he's practicing. So, yeah, it's an interesting one there. And also in that documentary I watched years ago, it had one where someone was disabled permanently. I believe they might have been in a wheelchair, but it talked about also how the jury didn't know that they were capping. They thought they were giving him, whatever the number was, 25 million, 52 million, whatever that number was. But it was capped to a certain point because of that tort reform to where the kid could probably hardly ever live, a decent life.
And that's usually the jury's not allowed to know the policy limit that you're dealing with.
Right.
And so they just assess the damages and they give their verdict. And if it's over the cap, that's all you could get. So that's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But also along the line of the damages, a lot of people in these cases, they say, oh, it was horrific what I went through, and then they stop treating. If you're in a car accident case, treat as much as possible.
Right.
Because that's really, if the consistent treatment, they look at you like kind of as a number. If you stop treating, just want to consistently treat and until your attorney or your doctor finalizes you.
Right.
Even if you're feeling a little better, just for as far as what the case looks like, is if you're going to take it before a jury, you definitely don't want to prematurely stop treating. So treating is key.
Yeah, keep treating because it could relapse as well.
Yep.
Keep treating, and you got the 7-day rule or 14-day rule, right?
That's for PIP. We all have, by law, we have to have $10,000 of PIP protection, each one of us, in Florida, car insurance. If you don't make it to an MD within 14 days of the accident, you only get $2,500, and that's the first $2,500 or $10,000 of damages in a car accident actually comes out of your insurance, the PIP.
Okay. Yeah, it's important to make sure you do that. Know these rules, know these different types of things, because it could cost you a lot of money. It could cost you, the case in certain cases. So stay with us. More from Jason Kobal, attorney Jason Kobal here on the Consumer Quarterback Show when we come back. And we also have our feel-good story of the day. Hockey fans set new world record with nearly 35,000 stuffed animals thrown onto the ice. Stay with us right here. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, this is Jarek Robbins. You are listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show with Brandon Rhymes. Please do what it takes to learn all that you have to live the life you want to live it fully, and find a way to give it by paying it forward to others.
Get in touch with Brandon online at consumerqb.com.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And giving a shout out to our hotel partner on Treasure Island Beach. The Bilmar Beach Resort is the official hotel partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show, filled with fantastic and generous amenities to make your vacation that much more special. The Bilmar Beach Resort has been one of the most sought-after destinations on the Treasure Island beaches for years. Whether you're hosting a party, a wedding, or just a local vacation, staycation, getaway, check out the Bilmar Beach Resort. Let them know that the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And as you know, I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes here. Got a couple of hot listings as well. Owner of Platinum MVP Realty. This property is in South Tampa, 4613 South Matanzas Avenue. Beautiful property in South Tampa. Actually, local celebrity owns it. It's Ian Beckles, the longtime radio show host, former Buccaneer. 4 bedrooms, 3 full baths, got a half bath, $729,000 in beautiful South Tampa. Just a quick walk over to Bayshore, and you're enjoying all that South Tampa has to offer. Got another waterfront beauty here as well. 9303 Alice Lane in Riverview. 9303 Alice Lane is a gorgeous property right on the river, the Alafaya River, and it's just 0.83 of an acre, just shy of an acre, full acre in Riverview. Pool home, gorgeous property. You got a mother-in-law and suite, in-law suite that you could rent out and utilize for income, and it's just a beautiful property here in gorgeous Tampa Bay.
Sun is shining, the weather is sweet.
All right, we're talking with attorney Jason Kobal here today, talking about, ways that you can live a better life, avoid commission-based advice, and all these different areas of law. So, So what's next on the agenda? What do you think we should discuss here?
Finishing up on the damages thing.
Yeah.
When you get medical bills, this is kind of weird, but it's a little tidbit for everybody, especially in a car accident case. And it's my buddy and I were just talking about this. It's so funny that this is just how it is, and everybody's cool with it, but it is what it is.
Right.
The medical bills, the actual bill amounts, are going to be way more than what they'll actually accept. And it's very good to know that, because some attorneys are not cool and they don't exactly tell their clients this. Say your bills at the end of a case, say the policy limit's $100,000, say they're $50,000 in bills. Usually I'll be able to resolve those for about $27,000.
Yeah.
So they every single case. So they bill X amount, and then usually about 40 to 60% reduction.
Wow.
And it's just like, my buddy was like, why don't they just bill?
They're just happy to get paid, aren't they?
I guess.
Yeah.
And every situation's different, but I know of some less than ethical stories of attorneys that. So if you're somebody in that situation, make sure you look at your bills and ask them, hey, did you get reductions on these? That way you get the most money as you can in your pocket. You don't want to be putting the money in the doctor's pockets as opposed to your own.
Very similar to a judgment, isn't it? Like if somebody, if you got an HOA that gets a judgment, or different type scenarios where somebody gets a judgment against someone, those things can be settled for very low.
Right. You could usually, negotiate it down.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're talking with Jason Kobal here in studio. So let's talk a little personal injury.
Sure.
So personal injury law, one of those misconception areas. There's a lot of things that happen. Bar fights, stumbles out into the parking lot, different scenarios. Anything that you've seen recent?
Yeah, actually, I actually had a. It's funny, right along the same lines as what we were talking about earlier, punitive damages. I actually had a workers' comp case. And I'm not going to mention details of party names or anything.
Right.
That's turning into a personal injury case of defamation of character, actually.
Wow.
And in this particular one, I recently had a comp case go all the way to court. And long story short, the judge ruled that my client was an elderly woman who was living alone. At her 4th surgery, she was a traveling nurse when she got hurt. But she needed attendant care at her house. And her attendant care started, and then it abruptly stopped. And we didn't know why. And long story short, after lots of litigation, we found out that the company that was supposed to be providing the care was actually feeding lies to her doctor.
Wow.
And we have an order now from the judge finding that as a fact.
Wow.
So now we're going to turn that into a civil case against that particular company.
Wow.
And that is the type of situation. Now we'll see how it plays out. It's always, you never know, and you have to ask for punitive damages, but that's the kind of situation where I think a message should be sent.
Yeah.
We don't want companies that are supposed to be taking care of these people
right
behind their back. And I don't know what the motivation was to get their care shut down.
Wow.
But yeah. So
so they were billing for care that they weren't delivering?
Well, no, they got the care that they were supposed to be providing. for an extended period of time. They got it abruptly shut down shortly after it started on lies that, that were told to the doctor. I mean, very shocking.
Wow.
So I'm hoping that a very strong message gets sent in that one, but we'll see.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting, man. I bet you see some interesting stuff, you know,
it's never a dull moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was, that's one of those strange situations where, and that's good to know multiple areas of the law because it was a workers' comp case and now it turned into a civil case, personal injury. So, I got that going on. That was pretty interesting.
Wow. So personal injury law. So things from, that can stem from slip and falls is one of the most famous that you hear.
Oh, yeah.
Slip and falls, people.
Those ones, they stress me out because they're so tough. You hear about it a lot and people, they come to me with them a lot, but it's such a tough law because you have to overcome the notice hurdle. And what I mean by that is if you fall, say you fall in a sidewalk or something like that, and you fall over some dangerous, condition, something that made you fall. If the property owner didn't even know about it and had no chance to fix it, you really don't have a case.
Wow.
But if it was, known danger and they could have fixed it and they didn't, then you have a much stronger case.
Wow.
So it's a much bigger hurdle. I much prefer the cases where you just get rear-ended in a motor vehicle accident, a lot easier.
Right.
But usually slip and falls come down to that notice and liability is always a tough one on that.
Yeah. So wrongful death. Have you seen wrongful death?
Yeah, not too many personally, because I've had a few, and those settled so quickly. I was actually telling a story about that recently. The last one I had, I got a phone call literally the next day from the insurance company, and they said, "Look, we're not messing around. We're tendering right away because liability was clear." The reason why they do that is something called bad faith. If an insurance company has a policy and they know that they should extend that policy, whatever the fact, could be wrong. That could be any kind of injury. But if the injuries and the evidence is clear that they should tender that, and you show them that evidence and you ask for the policy and they don't, then you could later get a verdict above their limit, and then you could actually make them go above and there'll be no limit. That's bad faith.
Wow.
It's a second proceeding after you get the verdict above the limit. And then you got to go back and show, at the time when you demanded the policy, did you show them enough evidence where they should have tendered? And if the answer is yes, that's what they fear greatly, insurance companies. It's called bad faith.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually have an attorney, Kevin Woods, in town that I send those to. He's very sharp on that. But, yeah, those are always big money cases.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting, man.
Yep.
So the insurance side of things too, let's kind of go back into the car accident type scenario, because when you talk about personal injury protection, you talk about uninsured motorist, there's some things that people need to know about that as well. Yeah,
a couple of things. First of all, it's sad, but even your own insurance company, you pay them every month.
Yep.
But when you need them and the accident happens and they're on the job now, they have their own job to do, and they're going to look out for themselves, and it's all about money. So even though, contractually they're supposed to take care of you, they're going to be wanting to limit the exposure that they face.
Right.
And it's sometimes hard for clients to swallow. It's like, hey, what the heck? I think it's supposed to be my insurance. And believe me, they're better than the other at-fault parties insurance company to deal with. But even your own, you'll find, they're looking to save money. It's all about money. You don't take it personally.
Right.
But as far as uninsured motorists in Florida, man, big tip, you got to have uninsured motorists in Florida because the legal minimum for the state is 10,000 UM, right? I mean, 10,000, I'm sorry, PIP, and then 10,000 property. So uninsured motorists is UM. If you don't have UM and the other at-fault parties say they caused the accident and they have the legal minimum, which is 10,000 PIP, personal injury protection, 10,000 property, that means no bodily injury. So if you don't have UM, you get the short end of the stick. And unless they personally have a bunch of assets, which is very unlikely because they got the legal minimum insurance, I have to turn those cases down regardless of the facts.
Wow.
And that's devastating.
Yeah.
For everybody.
So regardless of the facts, it could be, plain and simple, somebody got rear-ended, but it just comes down to what kind of policies do they have.
Yeah.
So the uninsured motorist is something that you got to have.
I think you really do in Florida.
Yeah.
And I actually think they should change that law, because it's unfortunate, and anytime I get a call and it's clear liability and it's huge injuries, first thing I ask, how many attorneys have you spoke to? If it's like 3, then I know, I bet you there's no insurance.
Right.
And that's it, no matter what the scenario, no matter how at fault the other fault party is, no matter how bad the damages are. If there's no money to go after, there's no money to go after.
Yeah.
And you can't take that personally. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, it's interesting. Talking with Jason Kobal here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. He's a local attorney, handles workers' comp, personal injury law, different kind of scenarios in between as well. The law changes recently as well. We got about a minute left in the segment. I'm not sure if we can get into it, but you know, some of the law changes are things that we like to update the listeners with. So one of the big ones that we talked about was the ability now for first responders to now access workers' comp.
Well, to be able to access specifically psychiatric, to have a psychiatric injury be held compensable, meaning their workers' comp's responsibility without a physical injury. Because previously the law said you could only have a psychiatric injury if you have a physical injury that corresponds to it.
Got it.
And that wasn't fair to people who saw horrific things. They may have not have been hurt physically, but what they saw gave them PTSD. So now they're covered.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a start.
It's a start. Yeah, well, like we said, that needs to go further. That law needs to go further. Yeah. And Leo talked about some stuff yesterday's show about how lobbyists are getting involved now with some of the hurricane aftermath, trying to keep homeowners from basically making the insurance companies deal directly with the homeowners and not allowing them to have their rights assigned to people that are protecting them. We'll dive deep into that. Yeah, we'll dive into that on the second side here. So stay with us, Consumer Quarterback Show. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Instagram, at Brandon Rhymes 1 on Twitter, and of course on Facebook, Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll be right back after the short break.
This is Work Done, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
Hi, my name is Joe Stalteri. I'm one of the owners of Complete Care Systems. At Complete Care Systems, we do carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning, tile and grout sealing, wood floor and laminate floor deep cleaning, as well as stripping and waxing of linoleum and vinyl floors, and a whole lot more. We also run daily deals and special, which you can find at CompleteCareSystems.com, or simply call Trisha up at 727-364-5158, and she'll answer all your questions and give you over the phone free estimates. Or she'll send me out to your home or office to give you an on-site free estimate. At Complete Care Systems, we don't cut corners, we clean them.
You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
And we're back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. Consumer Quarterback Show powered by Platinum MVP Realty. Check out PlatinumMVPRealty.com. We are recruiting agents to our team, and we've got a robust marketing plan. We're helping our agents succeed. We're helping our buyers, sellers, investors as well. With Platinum MVP Realty, we're maximizing the exposure on the sale of our real estate properties to help our sellers maximize the sale and the profits and make more money on the sale. We got a great buyer agent team as well, and real excited about a lot of the growth, a lot of good things happening. This segment's brought to you by Brothers Easy Moving. We strive to be the very best Tampa moving companies by exceeding expectations from the first phone call to the final customer courtesy call. And they're among the best reviewed movers in Tampa. Where Google, they hold a 4.9% rating, the highest in Tampa Bay. They have an A rating from the Better Business Bureau, as well as an A rating on Angie's List. Brothers Easy Moving for all of your real estate needs. And reach out, check out their website, and leave them a nice review up there. And let them know the Real Estate Quarterback sent you. Take them up on those special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. They're going to help you out with that. In studio today, we got Jason Kobal. He's a local attorney. We're talking work comp. I want to let you know about a couple of hot listings before we jump back into it. This one's 9511 Antilles Drive here in Tampa Bay. It's a Pinellas County property in Seminole. 4 bedrooms, 3 full bath. You got a half bath as well. $578,000, just reduced down to $578,000. David Weekly home, nearly a half an acre of mature landscape lot and a large backyard as well. Beautiful property, 9511 Antilles Drive in Seminole. Also got a nice condo here, ground floor condo at 206 Mariner Drive in Tarpon Springs. 206 Mariner Drive in Tarpon Springs. Hot property listing in Tarpon. It is a lovely 2-bedroom, 2-bath property, end unit. You got a pool on site. You've got the pond view, conservation view, and it's a great opportunity listed at $274,000. Another nice opportunity here in Tampa Bay. Somewhere sunny and 75. All right, so let's jump right back into it. We got attorney Jason Kobal here in studio, and talking about different areas of law. He can help with personal injury law, workers' comp. So let's touch on a little bit of workers' comp before we jump into the consumer debt stuff. Yeah,
workers' comp, I tell you, that was my original area of law that I got into, and it is like, that's what gets me up every day and motivates me, because it's a fight, man. It's tough for injured workers, and I worked on both sides. I hated the other side because I felt like I had all the advantages for the representing insurance carriers and employers. And ever since, I've been on the injured worker side now for, 11 years. Yep. And it's tough. It's tough. We have tough laws here in Florida for the injured workers. It's the way it is. And you got to fight for everything you could get.
So it's pro-business?
Definitely.
Yeah,
no doubt about it. And anybody who's been injured at work could probably tell you that. You don't realize it until it happens to you. Right. You don't think it's going to happen to you.
Right.
But, man, it's tough for them.
Yeah.
These are stressful cases because a lot of times, they're shutting their checks off when they shouldn't be. And, you got to go to their doctors, and their doctor, you can only get the care that their doctors say.
Wow.
So, you deal a lot of stressed out clients, and it's a tough challenge, but I love the fight because I've been doing it long enough. I feel I know it inside and out, and I like to fight for the little guy. So
yeah, that's good, man.
It's cool. But the difference as far as how much a case is worth and damages, to give you an idea, like a lot of times I'll have say somebody was a traveling employee, I don't know, real estate or something, they're driving around, they get rear-ended on the job. Well, they have the workers' comp case and a civil case. Those are great because they have 2 cases, but the differences are huge. The civil cases where you get pain and suffering, mental anguish, all those things, you don't get in workers' comp.
Right.
Workers' comp, you just get lost wages according to the law, which is very limited. And then you get medical care according to what their doctors say at their price, which is the cheapest form of insurance that exists.
Yeah.
It's called the fee schedule. So if say a surgery is $100,000, the fee schedule, it's going to be like $25,000. So it's
wow.
And then the doctors they use, it's like they either are upset because they get paid a lot less, or they're one of the doctors that get used all the time at workers' comp, and they get used all the time for a reason. They say what the insurance company likes. So that's the one that, and even the attorney fees are limited. They used to be worse. They recently got better. There was a legislative change. And they actually deemed the prior statute unconstitutional, but and it's still tough. And those don't pay as well as the others, but they do make you feel good when you're able to help someone out in a tough situation like that.
Yeah. That sounds. When you look at that scenario, now here's something that comes up to you. I would think this might be something for someone out there. A lot of the companies right now, they're fighting an uphill battle. We had Suncoast Roofing on the show, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, 3D Solar was just on our show talking about they need help. They need good qualified installers, people that can, workers. So there's a lack of workers right now. The challenge, right?
Yep.
So here's something that people might slip into. They might go to Home Depot, pick up some of the, the folks that are waiting to be picked up and taken for the day work. Now, the problem is if you bring them into your home to do yard work or you bring them into your job site, you know where I'm going with that.
Yeah, no, that happens. It happens. Like you might not even realize it. And I've had a lot of claims where like, wait a minute, I just brought this guy in. I was like, no, technically he's an employee under the statute. And they're like, what do you mean employee? And they might even have him sign a contract saying he's an independent contractor, but there's elements you have to meet.
Right.
And a lot of the times they don't meet those elements, and you could get tagged, and it's a nightmare. I feel bad for the small business owners because it's tough for them. It's a lot easier for the bigger companies. Like my brother's Kobal Contracting up in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
So he's a small construction company. So my heart always actually have a hard time when I have somebody like that on the other side of my cases because they have it. It's tough for them.
Yeah, because they're just trying to get the job done.
Yeah.
They go pick up a day worker from a Home Depot parking lot.
Yep.
They take them on a job site. They get hurt. God forbid they get hurt. They can turn around and sue that potential employer, that contractor, whatever they're doing.
Or even worse, sometimes they'll go above those people and they'll get the general contractor, and they don't want to upset the general contractor,
Right.
And then the general contractor's like, what the heck are you doing bringing some guy in? It's a big nightmare.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of those.
So they all got to be documented. They got to be legal. Now,
yep. And I feel bad for them too, to be honest. I've had a lot of illegal people who are here illegally and the employers know it, and they've hired a lot of them. And then one of them gets hurt, and all of a sudden, after working for them for years, all of a sudden they're bringing up, oh, they're illegal. You don't get any benefits. And that's crazy.
They don't help them.
Yeah.
They won't help them because they know that they won't fight back.
Well, I've had to go to trial 5 times. I'm 3-2, and it's our law for workers' comp is it comes down to, and I think they should win every time because it comes down to the discretion of the judge. Did the illegal alien, did they get the Social Security number or whatever they did to be able to work? Did they do it for the purposes of getting a job, or did they do it for the purpose of getting workers' comp benefits? Clearly, they weren't thinking, "Oh, I'm going to get hurt on the job." They were doing it to get a job.
Right.
But if the judge feels that they were lying to obtain workers' comp benefits, they lose. So it all depends on who the judge is and what the circumstances are. But I feel bad for those people.
Yeah, that's tough, man. That's a tough scenario. A lot of them just want to work. They just want to make a fair wage. A lot of it is cash under the table type cash.
Yep.
So that's a scenario that you see play out, but don't fall for that. You could get in big trouble. So let's jump into the consumer debt. I think it's a good topic next.
Oh, yeah.
So consumer debt, you got debt collectors out there. You got robocalls going on.
Ridiculous.
Tell me about that, man.
All right. Well, one of the hot areas of law, and hopefully it stays the way it is because right now it's very actually consumer friendly. The Telephone Collections Practices Act is what it's called. If you get a call on your cell phone from somebody that you did not give consent to call you, and it is from one of those robo-dialers, they're called, that's an automatic $750, and it could even be $1,500 per call. So these cases, if it's intentional, it's $1,500. These cases get it really up there because the crazy robo-dialer callers, they're calling a couple times a day, sometimes like 10 times a day for a couple months. The next thing you know, they add up. And really, those cases come down to consent. Did you sign something or somehow give them permission to call you? If you did, and you don't have a case, because you got to prove they didn't have permission to call. They called your cell phone, and it was from a robo-dialer. That's the easy part. Your attorney will be able to figure that out from discovery real easy if it was a robo-dialer. And to be honest with you, they usually are.
Yeah.
And then the last thing that's kind of a problem in those, and I've had this happen a few times, you'll get all the elements met, and you have a perfect case, and then it's one of those dirtball companies that they're not even a real company.
They don't have assets.
They don't
anyways.
have anything. Yeah.
Shell company.
Exactly. So you run into that. So you got to be careful sometimes. Just a little bit of research usually gets to the bottom of that.
You put a bunch of research behind it. Oh, it's XYZ Corp. They don't have any assets.
That's it.
And they're owned by ABC Corp, who's owned by,
yeah,
they put layers of stuff.
It's tough when you find out that, no, it's one of those shell companies. They don't have anything. And then you got to explain to the client, yeah, they have everything that I told you that we need to prove. But guess what? There's nothing to go after.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah. And, and the other scenario is, I've seen real estate companies doing it where you're giving a market update. You're just saying, hey, got a new listing. This property just was listed, or maybe telling them about an open house coming up. And then that gives the caller, the business side, the real estate company, that gives them the okay, at least according to some of these companies.
Yeah.
Because they're just giving information. They're just providing a market update.
Right. That's different, I think.
That's different.
Yeah.
Than a collection.
Than trying to collect a debt.
Than a collection attempt. Okay. All right. Stay with us right here. Consumer Quarterback Show. More from attorney Jason Kobal here in studio. We're talking about ways that you can live, a better life, avoid commission-based advice, making you more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, owner of Platinum MVP Realty, and we're helping sellers profit more on the sale of their real estate properties, recruiting agents to our team, looking for good agents out there. We got a plethora of leads and would love to talk to you. Give us a call on our hotline, 813-670-7372. Any kind of consumer advocate advice content that you need, we'd love to talk to you. 813-670-7372. You can call or text that hotline. We bring on CPAs, financial advisors, attorneys, home inspectors, solar technologies, health experts, all types of companies that we're bringing on the show to serve as a consumer advocate. It's all about helping you win and making you just a bit more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Got a hot property in South Tampa, 103 South Havana Avenue, just reduced down to $499,000, 5 bedrooms, 3 bath. And this is a beautiful South Tampa home in the Plant High School District. You got a great opportunity to rent it as an Airbnb or it would make for a great family home, fenced-in backyard, 5 bedrooms, 3 bath, 2,500 square feet, $499,000 just reduced, and it is a nice property here in South Tampa. Taking you over to Pinellas County, 215 12th Avenue Northeast. This property is a large home, 4 bedrooms, 5 bath, and it's at $1.149 million. 3,500 square feet, and it's 215 12th Avenue Northeast, a SIPS panel construction home, a gorgeous property located in just north of downtown St. Pete, the old Northeast section. So looking for my $1 million buyers out there, let me know what you want. All right, let's jump into our feel-good segment of the day, feel-good story of the day, and our Tell Me Something Good.
Tell me something good.
All right, so we got hockey fans set new world record with nearly 35,000 stuffed animals thrown onto the ice. The Hershey Bears in 2018 teddy bear toss has broken a new record with nearly 35,000 stuffed animals thrown onto the ice. The teddy bear toss is an annual tradition where hockey fans throw stuffed animals onto the ice after the first goal to donate to charity. Teams across the country participate in the tradition. The Bears announced it on Twitter that Sunday's teddy bear toss in Hershey, Pennsylvania set a new world record with 34,798 stuffed animals tossed onto the ice. The Bears say the stuffed animals will be donated to 30 different local organizations for distribution to needy kids. In addition to the toys, the night also produced tens of thousands of dollars in monetary donations. Pennsylvania Charity Community Aid had pledged to donate 50 cents per stuffed animal thrown up to $15,000, and an anonymous season ticket holder pledged $1 per stuffed animal. So interesting story, and that's kind of heads close to home for you, Jason.
Oh, yeah, that's my home state. That was the big highlight of my summers. I go to Hershey Park. It's a great amusement park in Hershey, PA.
Yeah.
Grew up like 2 hours north of there.
And it's all funded by the candy company.
Yeah,
right?
the chocolate factory. Oh, it was beautiful. You get a little tour. It was just a great time. You always start your day at the chocolate factory tour, and then you go right to the park.
Kind of like a real life Willy Wonka, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Yeah. Good stuff. So we always do our feel good stories here on the show, and bringing you a positive segment here on the program. So we got attorney Jason Kobal in studio here. We were talking about these robocalls and some of those different scenarios, and the independent contractor versus the W-2 worker. That's the one that comes up sometimes too. Yeah. Employers try to squeeze people into that IC agreement, but even though if they're not hitting certain benchmarks, what are those benchmarks, for example?
Well, there's certain factors. First of all, a contract helps, but it's not in and of itself enough. That's where they go wrong, because they think, hey, I got a contract, that's all I need. That's not true.
Right.
The next thing you look at, do they have their own tax ID? And that would be nice if they did. If they're using yours, that's a problem. It's all about control, really. If they're using your materials, that's a problem.
Right.
If you control when they come and when they leave, that's a problem. If if they basically can do whatever they want and they could possibly suffer a loss, that's good to prove that they're an independent contractor. So it's all a matter, if you treat them like an employee, they're going to be an employee.
Yeah, and if they have other clients,
that's
other customers, big one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or all they have and you're directing them 100%, then even if you have that contract, you're in trouble, especially if they're using your facilities.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, it is. And what's the downside of that? What could happen to the employer?
Wow, man. They could be sued if one of them gets hurt, like we talked about. But even more so than that is it's also a felony. The IRS is misclassifying an employee as an independent contractor. So you're paying much less taxes.
Right.
So, that's a third-degree felony for a tax violation. And then also the state, for example, for workers' comp, if the Department of Financial Services catches you doing that, they'll immediately stop your business.
Wow.
And I had a client that was getting the short end and getting mistreated by this company. It was a big company. And they were doing that to a lot of employees, misclassifying. And I noticed the case wasn't going to go anywhere. So we reported them, and they immediately got shut down.
Wow.
So that day. So they don't mess around with that. So
man,
you can't be messing around with that.
Yeah, that's tough stuff. Got to know these rules, man.
That's
the idea. You got to know these rules, otherwise you get hurt.
Or talk to somebody that does,
That's right. Yeah. So what's your website, Jason?
Kobal Law, KOBALLAW.net, NET.
.net, KobalLaw.net.
You got it.
All right, good stuff. So outside of work, we sometimes talk about UFC fighting or boxing, right?
I would like to talk about both, man. I don't know if you saw Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell.
I haven't seen it. Huh?
Don't. I feel bad.
Fight.
Please, Chuck Liddell, if you're listening, don't beat me up. But man,
I read about it. I read Rogan's remarks. He said he didn't change his style. He didn't change anything. He just went in there with the heavy fist, trying to.
The fists definitely looked heavy, but they looked slow. They didn't look like the old Chuck Liddell.
48 years old now.
Yeah, it wasn't close.
Yeah,
well, it really wasn't close. It looked pretty ugly.
Yeah,
but on a positive note, boxing, which is kind of, in my opinion, going downhill. I honestly think since like the Tyson days.
It was going way downhill.
Yeah, especially heavyweights. But man, what a fight this past weekend. It was awesome. Tyson Fury. This is the guy. He's 6'9", 250 pounds. He beat Klitschko a couple years ago, won the titles, and then he got depressed. He was up to 400 pounds. He was out of boxing for 2 years.
Wow.
Came back, had 2 warm-up fights, and then he fought Deontay Wilder this weekend as an underdog. And Wilder was 40-0 with 39 knockouts.
Wow.
And they were thinking the winner is going to fight this Joshua guy, Anthony Joshua, who's the title holder, who was also undefeated. And it was the coolest fight I've seen in a while. At 6 foot, it was 6'9" Tyson Fury against 6'7" Deontay Wilder.
Wow.
So 2 giants.
Huge.
And man, Tyson Fury was moving like Muhammad Ali, which you don't see guys that big moving that well.
Right, real agile.
Yeah, agile, just moving. It wasn't really getting hit that hard. Honestly, I would say 9 to 10 out of the 12 rounds. But boy, the 2 rounds he lost, he got knocked down twice. And the last round, he got hit with a right and a left. It looked like he was done.
Wow.
And somehow he got up, because this Wilder, 39 out of 40, that's pretty good.
That's really good. How much did Wilder weigh? He's 6'7".
He's 6'7", and he's only like 220 pounds. But he is powerful.
220.
It doesn't look like the Mike Tyson power back in the day, because he's a lot bigger. But man, his right hand is unbelievable.
Wow.
And just like a straight right hand. It's just super powerful. But it looks like they're going to rematch now. So Joshua's going to have to wait. Yeah, because it was such a good fight. And I think it brought in like 40 million. It did better than they thought. So
what's interesting? What's interesting with these big UFC fights, the boxing fight, you wait a day and you get it on YouTube. You can find it almost anywhere.
I know. I kind of feel like it buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
Especially after the Chuck Liddell one.
Yeah. But that was interesting, So I have to pull that up on YouTube then and catch that fight.
You do. Yeah. The Chuck Liddell one's quick. But that Fury one, man, that is great.
That's a great one. Like a good fight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one.
And you traveled out there to UFC, one of the last fights too.
To the McGregor one.
McGregor.
Yeah. I think McGregor, he's forever going to be looked at a little differently after that one. Because, man, he took a beating.
The other guy just owned him, huh?
Yeah,
the Russian guy.
Yeah, he owned him on the ground from the get-go, and it never was really close. And he even clocked him a few times. He got him tired on the ground first, and then he was giving it to him pretty good stand-up. So, it was he
dominated the match.
One-sided fight. Yep.
Yeah, dominated it.
Yep.
Wow. So you flew out there for that. Now, you also have another business.
I do, and that's kind of why I flew out there. I have a couple connections out in Vegas now. It's funny. I came up with a card game. I used to like playing cards, blackjack or whatever, going to the casinos when I was younger. When I was 19, I came up with a little table game, and then I never did anything with it. Long story short, in 2015, I met a guy who made apps. He made apps for like casinos. I go, hey, man, make me an app for my game. I invented it, and we'll try to get it in casinos. It's called Casino Over Under. It's in the App Store for iPhones. It's in the App Store for Android, the Google Play. It's free download, but the real dream is I'm trying to get the physical table games. I have a patent for it. I lease it out to casinos. Right now, I've got it into one casino, and I've got 2 others lined up. It's licensed in Mississippi, Washington State, and soon to be Pennsylvania. And it's just a simple counting game. You get 3 cards after you see your first of 3. Aces are always 11. You get your first of 3. You have to guess if the 3-card total is going to be over 23 or under 18. You make your guess. You get the second and third card. If you win even money. If you don't, you lose. Simple.
Wow.
Yeah. And then there's a little bonus for high overs of 27 to 33. You win whatever it says. Or low unders of 6 to 12. You win whatever it says. First night it was ever in a casino. Ace, which is the highest you could get, pays 51, happened twice. I thought they were going to kick me right out with my game, but it was all right.
Oh, man, yeah, because they want to keep it right in the middle, don't they?
Yeah, well, they lost money that night. I was devastated, but no, you can't beat it in the long run or else they would never even try it.
Right.
So, Casino Over Under, that's my baby.
Casino Over Under, that's cool. So check it out. It's on the App Store.
Yep.
And that's pretty cool, man. So you invented that when you're 19 years old?
I did, yeah.
Wow,
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
And it's funny. These companies, they have the casinos. They have gaming companies. They have like staffs of people. All they do is think of new games.
Wow.
So they don't like the crazy attorney from Florida, the outsider coming in, and
Yeah.
doing his thing. But so far, we're doing all right.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, we're still fighting, but yep, thanks, man.
That's good stuff. Yeah. Very cool. All right. So he's your local attorney here in Tampa Bay. He's also an inventor. Came up with an awesome game there, it sounds like. Jason Kobal, local attorney here. Support your local economy. Work with local. It's what we talk about here a lot on the show. Attorney Jason Kobal. KobalLaw.net is his website. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Pack up some food or clothing. Hand it to that person that you see in need and be a force for good in the community. And continue to tune into our show. We'd love to be your consumer advocate. Reach out for any real estate needs. And let us know how we can help you, and go out there and do something kind for one another. We'll see you next time right here at Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at ConsumerQB.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show, weekday afternoons at 5 on AM 1380. The Biz.
Are you a real estate agent looking to take your business to the next level and supercharge your marketing? Hi, I'm Brandon Rhymes, owner of Platinum MVP Realty and host of the Real Estate Quarterback Show, syndicated radio and TV show talk program on iHeartRadio, 1025 The Bone, daily 5 o'clock drive time on 1380 The Biz, and our TV show is on WeBeam TV. We're looking for real estate agents that want to join our team and supercharge their marketing utilizing some of our innovative strategies. We utilize the Real Geeks platform, Facebook marketing, internet marketing, and a lot of the traditional methods as well. Postcard mailers mailed for you, postage, signage, business cards, all paid for by the company. Aggressive real estate splits and ways to help you win in any marketplace. We need you to go out, take applications, and work our plethora of leads that we're generating on a daily basis. Reach out by clicking the form below, and we'd love to have a confidential interview with you.